All right, so let's dive into blockchain.
Okay.
You probably use it every day without even realizing it.
Yeah.
Things like crypto,
Yeah.
NFTs, maybe even parts of your favorite online games.
Right.
It's all about secure, transparent transactions,
Yeah.
no middleman needed.
Nope.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
Blockchain is built on immutability,
Right.
which means that once something's on the blockchain, it's there forever.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we make sure that this revolutionary tech is rock solid before we trust it with all of our data, our money, even our identities?
That's the question.
That's where cycle testing comes in.
Yeah.
And today we're going to find out why it matters
Absolutely.
to you, not just to the tech wizards.
Cycle testing is really fascinating because it's not just a one-time check. It's a constant process of putting the blockchain through its paces, like a stress test for a marathon runner.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't want to run a marathon without training in different conditions, would you? Like hilly terrain, scorching heat, maybe even a torrential downpour.
Exactly.
Cycle testing is about making sure the blockchain can handle any situation,
Right.
from a surge in users to a full-blown cyber attack.
Yeah, you really got to put it through the ringer.
So we're not just checking if the blockchain works.
Right.
We're trying to break it to find the weak spots before they become a problem.
Exactly.
But how do we actually do that? Where do we even begin?
Well, we start with a testnet.
Okay.
Think of it as a sandbox for developers to play around without risking real money or data.
Gotcha.
It's like a miniature version of the actual blockchain.
Okay.
So they can test new features, run simulations, and see how everything interacts.
So if I was building a new decentralized app,
Right.
I could try it out on the testnet first
Yeah.
to make sure all the kinks are ironed out before launching it to the public.
Exactly.
That sounds pretty smart.
It's all about mitigating risk. And once you've got your testnet set up, that's where the real fun begins. Functional testing.
Okay, tell me more.
We make sure everything works as it should.
Okay.
So does a transaction go through as expected? Can users create and manage their wallets without any hiccups? We're basically kicking the tires.
Gotcha.
Making sure the blockchain behaves as intended.
So we've built our virtual track.
Right.
We've made sure the basic functions work.
Yeah,
But then we've got to crank up the intensity, right?
that's right.
What happens when thousands or even millions of people start using the blockchain at once?
That's where stress testing comes in.
Okay.
We simulate those real-world scenarios, pushing the blockchain to its limits
Okay.
to see how it holds up.
Like when Ethereum gas fees went through the roof a while back.
Exactly.
That was because the network was struggling to keep up with demand, right?
Yeah.
So stress tests help developers identify those bottlenecks.
Yes.
And optimize performance, making sure the blockchain can handle the heat.
It's like a digital Black Friday sale.
But finding those bottlenecks,
Right.
that sounds really complicated.
Right.
How do they actually measure how much the blockchain can handle?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
We look at things like transactions per second
Okay.
and latency, which is basically the time it takes for a transaction to be processed. So by pushing the system to its limits, we can see exactly where it starts to buckle
Okay.
and make adjustments
Right.
to improve scalability and performance.
So it's not just seeing if it breaks.
Right.
But how it breaks?
Exactly.
That's clever.
Yeah.
But what about security?
Okay.
With all the hype around blockchain, there are folks out there trying to find ways to exploit it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where security testing takes center stage.
Okay.
We're talking about simulating real-world attacks, trying to find vulnerabilities before the bad guys do.
So like the DAO hack on Ethereum back in 2016?
Exactly.
That was a major wake-up call for the entire crypto space,
Big time.
highlighting the need for robust security testing.
Millions of dollars were lost because of a vulnerability in the code.
So they're basically hiring ethical hackers to try and break the system, right?
Pretty much.
They're trying to find those cracks before someone with malicious intent does.
Yeah. They employ a variety of techniques, including penetration testing, where they try to exploit known vulnerabilities, and fuzz testing, where they bombard the system with random data to see how it reacts.
Okay.
The goal is to expose any weaknesses in the code or the system's design.
I'm starting to get why cycle testing is so important.
Yeah.
But isn't it kind of like trying to hit a moving target?
It can feel that way sometimes.
Because blockchain technology is constantly evolving, with new features and updates being released all the time.
That's right.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing.
No, not at all.
You need to be constantly adapting, evolving,
Absolutely.
refining your testing methodologies. Because even small updates can have unintended consequences.
For sure.
So every change, every new feature needs to be rigorously tested before it goes live.
That's right.
It's like adding a new wing to a building.
Yeah.
You need to make sure it doesn't compromise the structure of the entire thing.
Exactly.
So it's not enough to just test once and call it a day.
Yep.
You're constantly reassessing, reevaluating, refining your testing strategies to keep pace with the rapid innovation in the blockchain space.
You've got it.
And that brings us to regression testing.
Right.
All right. What exactly is regression testing? And why is it so important?
Regression testing is all about making sure that new changes don't break existing functionality.
Gotcha.
So every time we update the code, we need to go back, retest all the core features to ensure everything still works as expected.
So like making sure that a software update on your phone doesn't suddenly wipe all your photos. I can see why that would be important for something as complex as blockchain.
Yeah.
So we've got functional testing, we've got stress testing, security testing, and now regression testing. Are we missing anything?
Well, there's one more crucial phase that often gets overlooked.
Okay, let's hear it.
Post-deployment testing.
Post-deployment.
Yeah.
So just because we've launched it doesn't mean we can stop testing.
Exactly.
We need to keep an eye on things.
Yeah.
Monitor performance. Track user behavior.
Yes.
Look for anomalies.
Right.
That might indicate underlying issues.
Exactly.
So it's like an ongoing health check.
It is.
For the blockchain to make sure everything is running smoothly even after it's gone live.
Precisely.
But how do they actually do that?
Well,
are they just sitting there watching screens all day hoping nothing goes wrong?
It's a bit more sophisticated than that.
I would hope so.
We use a combination of automated tools and manual analysis to monitor key metrics like transaction volume, block creation times, and network latency.
Right.
We're also looking for patterns in user behavior that might indicate a problem, like a sudden spike in failed transactions or a decrease in network activity.
So they're basically playing detective, looking for clues that something might be amiss.
Exactly.
But with all this testing going on, I have to ask, are there any specific techniques or tools they use to put the blockchain through its paces?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm listening.
Let's start with automated testing. Think of it like having a robot army doing the heavy lifting for you.
Okay, a robot army.
Yeah.
That sounds helpful.
It is.
Especially for something this complex.
Tools like Selenium can automatically test how users interact with the blockchain, while Ganache helps simulate a whole network on a single computer.
Wow.
This saves developers a ton of time.
I bet.
And ensures consistency in the testing process.
So we've got our robot army doing the grunt work.
Right.
But what about those scenarios that are just too complex or too unpredictable for automation?
That's where simulation testing comes in.
Okay.
We can actually mimic real-world events in a controlled environment to see how the blockchain responds.
Give me an example.
Sure.
What kind of real-world events would we simulate?
Imagine simulating a blockchain fork where the network splits into two separate chains. This can happen due to disagreements among the participants or even malicious attacks. By simulating this scenario on a testnet, we can see how different nodes react, how they choose which chain to follow, and whether consensus can be maintained.
So it's not just about testing the code.
Right.
But also the human element. Like how people actually use and interact with the blockchain.
Exactly.
It's interesting.
And then there's exploratory testing, where skilled testers manually dig around trying to find those hidden bugs that automated tests might miss.
So they're like digital detectives, right?
Precisely.
Hunting for clues in the code?
Yeah.
That might point to a vulnerability.
Exactly. They're using their knowledge of the system's architecture, their coding skills, and their intuition to probe for weaknesses.
Okay. Trying to think like a hacker.
To stay one step ahead.
That's right.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So we've got robots doing the heavy lifting simulations, mimicking real-world chaos, and digital detectives scouring the code for clues. Anything else?
One more crucial technique.
Lay it on me.
Performance benchmarking.
All right, break that down for me.
So we're not just testing. I mean, the blockchain works, but how well it works.
Yeah.
We measure things like transaction speed, resource usage,
Right.
and overall efficiency under different loads.
So if the blockchain is a highway,
Yeah,
performance benchmarking is about seeing how many cars can travel smoothly at rush hour
you got it.
without causing a traffic jam.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
But all this testing sounds incredibly time-consuming
it can be.
and expensive.
Yeah.
How do developers balance thoroughness with practicality?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And one that's constantly being debated in the blockchain community.
I bet.
There's no easy answer.
Okay.
It's a delicate balancing act.
Yeah.
Weighing the costs of testing against the potential risks of not testing thoroughly enough.
So it's a bit of a gamble,
It can be.
trying to strike that perfect balance between security, functionality, and cost effectiveness.
Exactly.
And that's why it's so important for users to understand the role of cycle testing.
It is.
When they're evaluating different blockchain platforms or applications,
For sure.
the more rigorous the testing process, the more confidence you can have in the system's security and reliability.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all boils down to trust.
Right.
Would you put your money in a bank that didn't bother checking its vaults for leaks?
Probably not.
Same goes for blockchain. Thorough testing gives us the confidence to use these systems for real-world applications, knowing they've been put through the ringer.
Okay, so we've covered the what and the how of cycle testing.
Right.
Now, let's talk about the why.
Okay.
Why should the average person care about all this?
Yeah.
I get it. We want secure systems.
Right.
But is this really something we need to be thinking about every time we use a blockchain app?
It's more about understanding the value of what's going on behind the scenes.
Okay.
Think about it this way.
Right.
When you buy something online,
Yeah.
you probably don't think about the complex algorithms that protect your credit card information,
Sure.
but you're glad they're there, right?
Yeah, of course.
Cycle testing is kind of like that.
Okay.
It's the unsung hero of the blockchain world,
Interesting.
working tirelessly to ensure these systems are robust, reliable, and ready to handle the demands of a decentralized future.
So it's not just about protecting the technology itself,
Right.
but also the people who use it.
Yeah.
Our data,
Yes.
our money,
Hmm.
our digital identities, it's all at stake.
Exactly. And as blockchain technology continues to evolve, the stakes are only getting higher.
Yeah, that's true.
We're moving towards a world where blockchain could be used for everything,
Wow.
from voting systems to healthcare records.
It's hard to even imagine.
Imagine the consequences if those systems were compromised.
That's a scary thought.
It is.
So it's not just about testing the code,
Right.
but also anticipating how these systems will be used,
Yeah.
how they might be attacked, making sure that they can withstand those threats.
Precisely. And that's why we need to constantly push the boundaries of cycle testing,
Okay.
exploring new techniques, adopting new tools, and always looking for ways to improve.
It's an ongoing process
It is.
of innovation and adaptation.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we've got the theory down.
Okay.
Now let's bring this to life with some real-world examples.
Sure.
What are some cases where cycle testing has really made a difference?
Let's start with the Ethereum 2.0 upgrade.
Okay.
A monumental shift that moved the network from a proof-of-work system to a proof-of-stake system.
So not just a simple update.
No.
It was like replacing the engine of a car while it's still running.
Exactly.
Incredibly complex.
It was.
And with potentially huge consequences if something went wrong.
Absolutely. And that's where cycle testing played a critical role.
Okay, I'm listening.
They ran extensive simulations on the beacon chain, the heart of Ethereum 2.0,
Right.
to test the new consensus mechanism, ensure validator performance,
Right.
and identify potential scalability issues.
And without that rigorous testing,
Yeah,
the transition could have been a disaster.
it could have.
So they basically averted a potential blockchain meltdown
Yeah,
through careful planning and rigorous testing.
that's right.
That's impressive.
What other real-world examples showcase the importance of cycle testing?
I'd love to hear more.
Let's look at Hyperledger Fabric, a blockchain platform often used for supply chain management. During cycle testing, they discovered a critical synchronization issue that could have led to data inconsistencies.
Oh.
Imagine a scenario where a shipment of goods is recorded on one node but not on another.
Yeah.
That could lead to delays, disputes,
Right.
and even financial losses.
So they found a glitch that could have disrupted entire supply chains.
It's a big deal.
Wow, that's huge.
How did they fix it?
Yeah, how do they even approach a problem like that?
Through rigorous testing and analysis, they were able to identify the root cause of the problem and develop a solution that improved the system's fault tolerance.
So even if some nodes go offline, the rest of the network can keep operating, ensuring data integrity and preventing disruptions.
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm starting to see how cycle testing can have real-world impact, preventing costly errors and ensuring the smooth operation of these complex systems.
That's what it's all about.
Any other examples that really drive home the importance of testing?
Consider DeFi platforms, which are becoming increasingly popular.
Yeah, DeFi is huge right now.
For lending, borrowing, and trading crypto assets. One of the biggest risks in DeFi is a sudden rush of withdrawals, which can lead to liquidity crunches and even platform collapses.
So basically a bank run, but in the crypto world.
Exactly. And that's why responsible DeFi platforms conduct rigorous stress tests, simulating mass withdrawal events to identify potential bottlenecks in their system.
So pushing their platform to its limits. In a controlled environment. So they can find and fix vulnerabilities before they become real-world problems.
That's the idea.
That sounds like a pretty intense test.
It is.
How do they even simulate something like that?
Oh.
Do they have a bunch of people frantically clicking withdraw buttons at the same time?
It's a bit more sophisticated than that.
I was hoping you'd say that.
We use specialized software to simulate thousands, even millions of transactions occurring simultaneously.
Wow.
Mimicking the conditions of a real-world rush. This allows us to see how the system handles the load, identify any weaknesses in the smart contracts, and ensure they have enough liquidity to meet demand.
So they're basically stress testing their financial fortress to make sure it can withstand a siege.
You got it.
That's reassuring, especially with so much money flowing through these DeFi platforms.
It's all about building trust and transparency by demonstrating that they've taken the necessary steps to secure their platform and protect user funds. These DeFi projects can gain credibility and attract more users.
That makes sense.
And cycle testing is a key part of that process.
Okay, I'm convinced.
Good.
Cycle testing is clearly essential.
It is.
For ensuring the security, reliability, and scalability of blockchain systems.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
But let's look ahead. What does the future hold for cycle testing? As blockchain technology continues to evolve at breakneck speed, how can we ensure that testing methodologies keep pace?
That's a great question. And one that's top of mind for many developers and researchers.
I bet.
One of the most promising developments is the use of artificial intelligence.
AI.
And machine learning in the test set process.
AI for testing blockchain.
Exactly.
That sounds wild.
It's pretty cool.
How does that work?
Imagine an AI that can analyze vast amounts of code. Identify potential vulnerabilities, and even suggest fixes before humans even spot the problem.
So AI is a digital detective, constantly scouring the code for weaknesses.
Exactly. AI can also be used to automate many of the repetitive tasks involved in testing, freeing up human testers to focus on more complex and creative challenges.
So we're talking about AI that can not only find bugs, but also write better code.
It's still early days.
Wow. That's pretty incredible.
But the potential of AI in cycle testing is huge. We're also seeing advancements in formal verification techniques.
Formal verification? What's that?
Which use mathematical models to prove the correctness of code.
So we're not just testing to see if something breaks, but actually proving that it's mathematically impossible for it to break.
That's the idea.
That sounds like the ultimate guarantee.
It's the holy grail of software development.
Wow.
And it's becoming increasingly relevant in the blockchain space, where security is paramount.
All right, so AI, machine learning, formal verification. Sounds like the future of cycle testing is pretty high tech.
It is.
But with all these advancements, will there still be a role for human testers?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
While AI and automation can certainly enhance the testing process, they can't replace human intuition, the creativity, and problem-solving skills. We still need skilled testers who understand the nuances of blockchain technology.
I see.
Who can think like attackers.
And who can design tests that truly push the boundaries of these systems?
It's that combination of human expertise and technological innovation that will drive the future of cycle testing.
I think so.
But beyond the technical aspects, there's also a human element to all of this.
Yeah.
As blockchain technology becomes more integrated into our lives, how do we ensure that it's used responsibly and ethically?
That's a crucial question.
It is.
And one that goes beyond the realm of cycle testing.
Okay.
It's about fostering a culture of responsibility and accountability within the blockchain community.
So it's not just about building secure systems, but also about ensuring that those systems are used for good.
Yeah.
That they benefit society as a whole.
Exactly. It's about aligning technological innovation with human values.
Okay.
Ensuring that the blockchain revolution leads to a more equitable, transparent, and sustainable future.
That's a powerful message.
It is. And one that I think resonates with a lot of people who are excited about the potential of blockchain.
Yeah, I think so too.
But let's be honest.
Okay.
There's also a lot of hype and speculation in this space.
There is.
How can we cut through the noise and make informed decisions about which blockchain projects to support?
That's where critical thinking comes in.
Okay.
Don't just blindly follow the hype.
Right.
Do your research, ask questions, and look for projects that prioritize security, transparency, and community engagement.
So look beyond the flashy marketing.
Right.
And dig deeper into the technical details.
Yes.
The team behind the project. And their commitment to responsible development.
Exactly. And pay attention to how they approach cycle testing. Are they transparent about their testing methodologies? Do they engage with the community to identify and address potential vulnerabilities?
Gotcha.
These are all signs of a responsible and trustworthy project.
Okay, that's great advice. But let's be real. Not everyone has the time or expertise to delve into the technical intricacies of every blockchain project they encounter.
True.
Are there any red flags that average users should watch out for?
Absolutely. Be wary of projects that make grandiose claims without providing evidence to back them up. Look for projects that have a clear and well-defined roadmap, a strong development team, and a commitment to open source principles.
So basically, do your due diligence just like you would with any other investment.
Precisely. The blockchain space is still relatively young. Yeah. And there are bound to be bumps along the road.
That's for sure.
But by approaching it with a critical eye and a healthy dose of skepticism, we can navigate the hype and identify the projects that are truly building a better future.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From the technical intricacies of cycle testing to the broader ethical and social implications of blockchain technology, it's been quite a journey.
It has.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought.
All right.
If there's one thing you want them to take away from this deep dive, what would it be?
It would be this. Blockchain technology has the potential to revolutionize many aspects of our lives.
Okay.
But that potential can only be realized if we prioritize security, reliability, and responsible development.
Yeah.
Cycle testing is a crucial part of that equation.
Okay.
Ensuring that these systems are robust, trustworthy, and ready to handle the challenges of a decentralized future.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but how we build it.
Yeah.
How we use it, and ultimately what kind of future we create with it.
Exactly. The blockchain revolution is still unfolding.
It is.
And we all have a role to play in shaping its trajectory.
I agree.
By understanding the importance of cycle testing, we can contribute to building a more secure, transparent, and equitable world.
Well said. It's been a fascinating and insightful conversation.
It has.
Thank you for sharing your expertise with us. And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into cycle testing in blockchain.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that is super crucial.
Right?
But often overlooked aspects of this revolutionary technology.
It really is.
If you're interested in learning more, make sure to check out the show notes.
Yeah.
We've got links to some of the resources that we mentioned.
Absolutely.
Articles, research papers, even some hands-on tools.
Sorts of stuff.
That can help you understand cycle testing better.
And its role in shaping the future of blockchain.
This is an ongoing conversation.
It is.
Blockchain is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
And new challenges are emerging every day.
All the time.
So we want to hear from you.
We do.
What are your thoughts on cycle testing?
What questions do you have about the future of blockchain security and reliability?
Join the conversation on social media.
Let us know.
Share your insights, your concerns, your hopes for the future of this transformative technology.
It's up to all of us to ensure that it's built on a foundation of trust. transparency, and responsible development.
By understanding the crucial role of cycle testing, we can contribute to building a more secure, equitable, and sustainable future for everyone.
That's the goal.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,
and keep diving deep